All right, hey class. My apologies for not being able to come in today, but I did want to go ahead and make sure that we get everything straight and in order as far as our next class session. So as I mentioned before, we're going to be doing the um, drawings now for our assemblies. We did the assemblies last week, and I kind of recreated this assembly from last week. I didn't have it saved, so I just kind of recreated this one. And then the first thing that we want to do for our assembly is go ahead and create what we call the exploded view. And the exploded view button is right here. Make sure you're inside the assembly tab, not the layout or sketch or anything like that. Make sure we're in the assembly tab. And then all the way over, after we've already added in all the components, we have already added in our mates and stuff like that. We want to now go over here to what we call the exploded view. And if you hit the drop down for the exploded view, you'll see here that there aren't any available currently, so we have to actually go ahead and create the first one. So we click on exploded view. And the way the exploded view works is that what you're going to do is take all of our parts and pieces of our assembly and basically remove or move them away from each other. So the main thing about that is just making sure that you can actually see visibly all of your different parts. It doesn't have to be too perfect or anything like that, but just want to make sure you're able to see it. I like to keep mine in the isometric view as much as I can, which I believe is this one, and isometric. Probably going to actually rotate it maybe down a little bit. That way we can kind of see a little bit more. But yeah, so the only thing that we have to do for our exploded view is literally just click on a part and then go ahead and take the arrow, move it around wherever you want to. So I'll take this arrow and just drop this part down like this. About there is good. Doesn't have to be anything too particular. Just want to make sure you're able to see the whole thing. There we go. And then after that, you're going to come over here, and for every part, you're going to hit the done button. If you don't hit the done button, I think it'll like mess up when you go to a different part or something like that. But you do want to hit the done button first, and that way it'll capture that movement for that one part there. And then afterwards, you can continue on with the next parts. Parts that are similar, you can just go ahead and pretty much do them all together. So like this, this, and that. I'm trying to make sure I grab it, that one. I think I accidentally hit the wrong. Let's back out of that here real quick. All right, this one, I'll go crisscross that one and that one. And then now I just want to, again, like I said, just grab this arrow, bring them all the way straight up like this. Let go. Now it captures that movement. Make sure you hit done so that it locks it in place. And then you can see right here, our next step is now available. Last part that I have here is the washers. So I have this washer. Oops. So see what just happened was I had my explode step 1 selected. Over here on the left, my explode step 1, I had it selected. And then when I clicked on my washer, it actually went ahead and made that the same step. So it basically went inside explode step 1 and then pushed the washer down, the same as that piece there. That is not what I want, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete this washer out of that scenario. And just make sure I am creating a brand new. I'll hit done on this again. And make sure I'm just creating a brand new step here. So for that washer, this washer, I'll come with this one. Whoops, not that, not the base. Delete the base. Keeps grabbing the base. I'll just zoom in on it. Make sure it grabs the washer. Alright. And again, the only thing I'm going to do is just grab my arrows there and kind of push this up. One thing that I can do, I'm gonna hit done on that. One thing I can do also is kind of like rotate them like 90 degrees if I wanted to. So like this, and this. Let's see, how do I want to I'll go ahead and try and rotate this best I can. Like so. And that's just so that I can see it a little bit better, a little more differently there. Hit done on that. It's really not where I want it to be, but it's not bad. Probably better off if I did a little bit differently, but it's okay. Again, I just want to push this off a little bit there. I hit done on that also. That way you can kind of see it a little bit differently. And pretty much that's it. So if you wanted to, you can take it a step further and add in these trace lines. And I'm trying to see if I had to add in trace lines before or after. And trace lines just basically show exactly where all of these parts come from and stuff like that. I can't see where it is off the top here. Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit the green check mark, hit OK on that. And then now if we go to exploded view, you'll see here that we have a couple of different options. Explode line sketch, I believe this is one of the trace lines I was talking about. And insert, edit, smart explode lines. It was one of these two here. And if we go to exploded view, nope, that's not what I want to do. So we can always come back over here to our assembly, right click, and then I believe right here where it says explode, we can re-explode everything back into its exploded state, or we can go back, right click, go here to collapse, and collapse just puts everything back in place. I do want to come in here, I'm going to insert explode lines. Let me explode everything first. Insert explode lines, and again this is just what they look like. It's just lines showing exactly where everything goes. It's not really perfect just because of how I did it, but as you guys can kind of see, yeah, I'm gonna change the component origin. You guys can kind of see how that works though. And again, it's just like if a manufacturer was looking at this, they would know exactly where all these parts go just by following these trace lines pretty much. So I hit OK. See my trace lines there. And I believe that's it. So I'm just going to collapse everything there. One thing I'm also going to do. I want to do it now. That's okay. So now what I want to do is just go ahead and start to create my drawing. My drawing is going to be an assembly drawing, so I don't need as much information as a regular part drawing, but I do want some information in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a file, new, or I guess I can hit the new button here, and new drawing from assembly. Click that. Oh yeah, I do want to save it. So let's just save this here on downloads. And we're just going to call this the class assembly. Now it's going to make the drawing for me. And a drawing, as we mentioned before, we have different options for our drawing. I'm just going to put on a D-size drawing just so I make sure everything fits as far as my exploded view goes. Hit OK. And then now, as you can see here, we have our drawing pulled up. They give us the options to choose from here to go ahead and add these in there. I do know I want to make the isometric view, so I'm just going to grab that, plug that in there. Oh, so I didn't click and hold, so that went away. I'll just go ahead and do it again. So drawing, model view, yes from this model, hit next. And then we want to do the isometric view here. And then bring my isometric view in. It's right there. And there we go. That's my isometric view of my part. Usually with these views, I like to go ahead and make sure that they are in solid state, so I actually see what they look like in solid state. And then I'll go back in and do another view, but this time make sure my document is the one selected. This time what I'm going to do is actually hit this button here that says show in exploded or model break state. So make sure you have this toggle turned on. So if I hit my isometric again, you see how that box shape looks and everything. If I turn on my toggle for exploded, that should change. There we go. So now it's more rectangular. So as you can kind of see, it automatically just goes ahead and changes it. Right here, you can hit the drop down for. You can have more than one exploded view. You can have more than one exploded view. So if you do, it'll just, you'll be able to select which one you want here. I just have the one, so that's fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this in isometric view based on that exploded. So I'll click down, and then there we go. I'm going to increase the size of this just slightly, probably about like, let's say what 2:1 does. Yeah, I like that better. I like it big. So now we see all of our parts, we see them exploded, we see our trace lines. Some companies don't like those trace lines or exploded lines or whatever. You can easily remove them, turn them off or whatever, but not a major issue or anything like that. But yeah, so that's really it for as far as the views go. We only want 2 views. We want our standard isometric view in shaded, and then we want our exploded view in wireframe. Sorry, wireframe mode. Then the next thing that we want to do is actually go into, I think it's annotation, and add in what we call balloons. And these balloons are basically just a call out saying what each part is. I think with this program we have to have what they call a parts list first in order to create it, but I can't remember, so I'm just going to click balloon. And then what we can do basically is just kind of touch each one of these parts. And each one of these parts are going to have a specific number attached to it based on how they were brought into our assembly. So the first part should be my base. I brought in the base first. The second part should be this handle down here at the bottom. The third part should be my washers, and the fourth part should be these bolts. So when I click on this, as you can see, my balloon has nothing attached to it yet, no number attached to it. But if I click on the part, then it'll actually add the number to it based on what that part is. And 2 ways to doing that: you can attach it to the face of the part, and then you'll see this black circle at the end of the balloon, or you can come over here to the edge and attach it to the edge of the part, where you see it kind of now changes over to an arrow, a black arrowhead. So it really doesn't matter which way, whichever way is more convenient. I like to do the edge first, and if not, then I can do the face of something, but I try to do the edge first. So I'll go ahead and click on my edge here, drag this off a little bit, click there, and as you can see, as soon as I drop it down, the number 1 pops up saying that this is item number 1. If I come over here to this item here, again, the part is automatically going to know what it is and how it operates. So I'll just go ahead and click. Boom. Now you can see now it says number 4, because again, it's smart enough to know that this is item number 4, and it shows the black dot instead of the black arrow like over here. So then the last one, or the last 2 I guess I should say, I'm gonna do one for my bolt here, my washer, sorry, my washer here, just point to that, number 3, and then lastly would be my item number 2, which is my handle. Now again, looking at this, people don't know exactly what they are. Just because you put numbers added to them, people still don't know what they are. What you would want to do after that is actually create what they call a parts list, and that parts list has all of the information that you need for each and every single one of these items. The parts list can be found under tables. So you're going to come up here, make sure you're in the annotation tab again, not the drawing tab. Make sure you're in the annotation tab, all the way to the end, go to tables. If you don't see tables there, you know, you can always go to the search command, type in tables, and then you can hit the eyeball for it to show where it's at, or you can just click on tables. When you click on tables, it actually pops up a bar over here on the left hand side, but that's not really what I want to do. So I hit the drop down for tables and then just go to bill of materials. And the bill of materials for this item is, or bill of materials and parts list is kind of one and the same. Just kind of depends on where you're at. But essentially they do the same thing. They give a list of all of the different parts, what material they are, all the information that you would need for it, and so on and so forth. So I click bill of materials. I will click which item that I want to create my bill of materials from. Of course, it's going to be this assembly, so I'll just click on that. And then come over here to the left, and I don't think for this one I have to really change any. I don't have to change any settings or anything like that. If I wanted to, I could do attach the anchor point, but I don't really need to attach the anchor point. So I hit the green check mark for OK, and then there is my bill of materials now. I'm going to zoom in on it just a little bit so you can kind of see it better. I haven't clicked anywhere yet, just in case you're kind of wondering, like, how come I'm able to move it like this. If you accidentally click first, once I hit the green check mark over here on the left, once I hit the green check mark, this pops up, and then I haven't clicked yet, so that's why I'm still able to just move it. But if you did accidentally click, then that's not a big deal. I'll show you guys how to move it here in a second. But as you can see here, it has each one of the item numbers, item number 1, 2, 3, and 4. It also has the part number itself, which is really just a name in my case, but most parts have a identifier number to it rather than just the part name. And then it also has an area for a description if you want to add a description, and also has lastly the quantity of how many items are in each of these assemblies. So this assembly has one base in it, which is this part. It has one handle, which is this part down here, and it has 4 washers and 4 bolts. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 washers, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. And again, everything corresponds to one another. The bolt, as we can see here, is item number 4, and inside my parts list is also item number 4. Over here, the washer itself is item number 3. You can see that by the balloon, and then item number 3 corresponds to the washer in the parts list as well, or the bill of materials as well. So I'll go ahead and bring this down here. I'll just, as soon as I bring it to my corner, it snaps kind of right in place. That's why I didn't click on anything yet, and that's why I didn't set any anchor point, just because I know it, it snaps in place. But again, you guys, if you wanted to, just drop it down like this. If you want to move it again, you can always click on this move icon button. You can always click on this move icon button, pick it up, and it'll still snap into place wherever you want to put it. Alrighty. The next thing that I want to do is go ahead and add in a description. So I can right click on it here, and or it might be double click. Let me see. If I double click there, the sale value is linked to the property external model. Oh, okay. So yeah, you can always add a description to the part itself, or we can do what they call break link, and then it'll detach itself from the part, so that way you can actually do it. I recommend just keeping a link and adding in description the way you can over on the model side. So I'll hit cancel there. I will come over to the part itself. Let me just file, open, and I'll open the base here. Open that up. And then this part here has a couple of properties for it. To find the properties, just come up here to the top where it says File Properties, or you can go to, I believe it's File and Properties right here as well. And in here we can add in a few things. I think the main one I always add it to is just Custom, and under Custom we have what they call Property Name, and Let me make sure. I don't think it's document properties. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do this first because I didn't see description on there. Let me just set the material first. In order to set the material, I think I mentioned to you guys before. In order to set the material, all you gotta do is come here to material, double click if you wanted to, or maybe not double click. Okay. You can right click up here at the top, come down here to material, and set the material this way. Or you can just go straight to material, right click there, and set the material this way as well. I'm just going to do it straight from here. I'm not going to go into any like the major material stuff. I'll just say that this is a copper base or whatever. And then I want to make sure I go ahead and save this. And then go back to my document properties up here at the top. So document properties right here. And then it's actually not popping up there. So what usually happens if I come here, I can just type in, I guess, material. And the type is going to be text. And then, oh, there it is. Okay, so that's what I was looking for. So now I can actually just go here where it says material. And then that way this knows that it's looking for the material. And then the value for it, the material is copper here. I don't think that's the way you do it for the description also. Description. If I go here to description, mass, density, volume, surface area, costs. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look back and see where the description comes in from. For some reason, I'm drawing a blank on that. Yeah, your items here, I believe you can just leave it under custom. I don't think you have to do configuration specific, unless I have that backwards, but I think under custom, if I hit OK, again, make sure I hit file save. Now I'm going to come back over here to my assembly drawing. It's going to update. As you can see up here, it's updating. And then you can see also here, it turned the color for copper. And then now down here, you don't see any changes yet. But if I go and make sure, this is another key thing, make sure you guys are inside this blue area where you see the drop down arrow. Make sure you're inside this blue area. Right click there. Or no, not right click, just regular click, left click there. And then you'll get this pop-up box here where you have to go here to where it says column property. The reason why I say make sure you do that is because if you come over here to where like the move button is or whatever, and I click there, column property is actually grayed out. So you want to make sure that you are inside that column or inside any column just so you can see that column property. And then you can actually add in a new column, set the material and all that stuff. I don't think if you hit for row, yeah, for row also, as you can see, it's grayed out. So you can't actually change or set or edit any column if you're not on the column area. So inside this blue area here, I know that I want to add in the material. So I'll just click there. Go to column property. No, because I want to add in a new column first. So I think I might have to do table header top. Nope, not that. Okay, so the first thing I got to do is just hit right click on the table. Right click on the table and then go to insert and then insert a new column, either to the left, to the right, however you see fit. Once I insert a new column, you can see it there. And then here's that same column property that you had before that I can change. I'm actually going to just move this over first before I do that. I want to just move that. Then I'll come over here to my column, click on it, go to column property, click on it there. It's currently not set, but I can always set it to the new one that I just added, the material. Or if I wanted to, I can change this up here, custom property, to something else, something that's already available. But I did make new custom properties, so that custom property that I made is a material, so I'll set that. And then boom, now I have material here and I have copper there. So now if I wanted to add all of these other ones as well, I could always I can close this one out. I don't need that one anymore. I can open up another one. Let's say the washer. Go ahead and set the material for the washer by right clicking on material. It'll pop up with this. Why don't I have I guess they have carbon steel. I just do plain carbon steel. And then I come up here to document properties, or file properties, sorry, file properties. I'll add in a new custom again. This custom is just going to be material, and then the value for that is going to be the actual material itself. It has the value there. I'll hit OK, and then I'll do the same thing. Save it, close it, watch it update, and then boom, as soon as I do that, now that I have everything set for the material, it'll automatically pop up here for the material. Once more, just to make sure you guys got it, I'll do File, Open, and I'm going to open up the bolt. I'm going to add a new property here. Again, that's just right up here at the top. File Properties. Click on that. Make sure you're in the Custom tab. Go here. Material. Come here to the actual material itself. It says no material specified, so I hit OK. Just come over here to specify it. I'll put this as carbon steel also. Now if I come back up here, it should say my material. Okay. And then I'll go ahead and save this also. Exit out, it'll update, and then as you can see here, the material is added. For the handle, I don't know. I'll just for the handle, I'll just go ahead and click on description, double click there, say break link, and that way I can just type in what I want. This material has no material, not this material, this component has no material. Hit OK, and then you can add it in the description just like that. After you would do that for each one of your parts, you would essentially be all done. There's really nothing else for you guys to do in this case as far as what is it called? Anything for the assembly. Really, assembly is my washer and why is my washer and stuff missing? My washer and stuff went away. I'm not sure why. Okay. So yeah, so all you would have to have is your isometric view here. There's a few, like 4 main things that you have to add. It's like a 4.5 really. Why I say a half is because don't forget to always put your what is it called? Your materials on your parts. So that's like the half part. Just put your material on your part. And then also make your exploded view if you haven't made that yet. But as far as the drawing goes itself, there's only 4 main things that you have to do. The first one is the isometric view. Make sure it's shaded. The second one is your exploded view in wireframe. The third one is adding your balloons. And then the last one is adding your parts list or your bill of materials table. And then that's it. If you guys do have any questions, again, I apologize for not being able to have in-person class today. I know Monday was holiday and whatnot, Juneteenth or whatever, so we had to kind of switch things around. But hopefully this video helps you complete the assignment for lab this week. If you have any questions, please do reach out to me on email, and then we'll go from there. All right, thank you. Everyone have a great day. Bye-bye.